Red Bull Wololo 2, the second Red Bull Empire Wars tournament, starts tomorrow. And I wanted to make a video on each of the matchups that we have for the first rounds and going forward, and talk a little bit about what I think is going to happen in those matches. So in the bracket, which they released yesterday on AOE Zone, I pulled up the bracket here, and I'm going to be just talking about each of the matchups one by one. So first round, day one, we have Mr. Yo and Vinchester. And I think that, Mr. Yo is a strong favorite for making a deep run in the tournament. Vinchester, he's a solid player. After the Arena Wars tournament, didn't look that impressive. Hera took him down pretty easily, and it's supposed to be one of his strengths. So I think Vinch is coming in a little bit weak, and against a favorite like Mr. Yo for a deep run, I don't expect much out of here. I think it's a clean win for Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo is going to be moving on to the second round for sure. If Vinch wins, that'd be a big upset. Second match, we have Mbl versus Capac. Now, Capac, I'm not a history guy, but he's an old player who's coming back. I'd have to research some of his history on him. Apparently, it's very interesting. He's on a crazy fire comeback right now, which seems to be very popular during quarantine. So him matching up against Mbl. Mbl is one of the most active players right now. He did take a recent vacation, and I think that that's a good move for Mbl because the way he timed it, I think especially, is really intelligent, where you take a week off, 2 weeks out from the tournament, then the week you come back is the week before the tournament, and during that week you're putting in the hours, not streaming as much, so you're fresh, you're focused on practice, and I think that Mbl really timed it right to peak for the tournament. So in this matchup, we got a player who's on an impressive run. He's an up and coming returner, if you want to call it that way. But he's matched up against Mbl. He's a very active player, super experienced. I think Mbl also has great late game, post imp game, and I think this is going to be a hard match for Capac. Mbl should take this one. I think should be able to take out Capac. Like I said, I don't know the history exactly behind this, but I think this is a win for Mbl, bringing him to the next round. Third match of day one is probably the most interesting one, probably the closest match of all of these, of the 8 of them. It's Tato versus Dogão, and I think this one can go either way, honestly. One thing that I want to comment on is it seems that, for example, in Hidden Cup, matching from Spain to Brazil on the servers seemed a little bit sketchy. There seemed to be a little bit more lag than usual, and maybe Dogão's internet is not super strong right now. It looks like it was a little bit sketchy for connectivity. That might play into Tato's hands. That might give him a slight advantage on the lag, and I don't know which server exactly you'd choose for this matchup to make it even. So just on that, it might give a slight advantage to Tato, and Tato is a good strategist. I think he knows when to be aggressive, and this is not going to be an easy match. But I mean, Dogão's looking in tournaments, he's a beast. Like you saw in Hidden Cup against Viper, he took a game off him, I think, and yeah. So this is going to be a close match. I personally want Dogão to go through. I think that he's a beast in tournaments. You could really turn it on. So I'm rooting for him. But honestly, this one's as close as you can get. Honestly, it's a pretty even matchup here for the round one. But I'm going to assume that Dogão goes through, let's say. Fourth match, Hera, my boy Hera. I'm also Canadian, so I mean, I'm very biased for Hera. He's matched up against ACCM again in the first round, which is surprising for ACCM, and I think this is a clean sweep for Hera. He should be taking him out, no problem. Nothing much more to add on this first round matchup for Hera. It's more of a layup for him, and he's going to be going into the second round for sure. I mean, ACCM's a good player, but I don't think he's in the same level as Hera right now. Hera's clearly above him in the tiers, let's say, of top players. A little bit above his caliber. Now, day two, we got 4 matchups. First match is Leary Velez, and I don't know if you guys caught Hera's 24-hour streams, but Leary is looking really strong right now. He's taking off games off Hera. He looks super comfortable, and I think the Empire Wars mode, it gives you lots of aggressive games. Leary's super good at being aggressive. I would say that Leary is probably going to take this match. It's not going to be an easy match, but Leary he's not to be underestimated. I think since he doesn't stream maybe as much, doesn't get as much attention as like, let's say, Viper, MBL, Hera, but he's definitely solid. So I think that this match, and Velez honestly in tournaments has not been that impressive this year in 2020. So I think that Leary takes this match and moves on to the next round. After that, we have Lan the Max. This one, I kind of don't really have as much info on this one. I don't particularly know Lan that much. I know that the Max there's been lots of expectations, kind of the same story as Velez, lots of expectations on him, and hasn't really been delivering the big results that you'd expect from someone with that name behind him, like especially online. So, but he's a solid player for sure. Difficult matchup for Lan because Max is solid. It's not going to be an easy task, but this, like I said, this one I don't really have much to say on this. I don't really know. I'm like a bit of a newbie, so I don't really know exactly what's going on here between Lan and Max. It doesn't really make a difference because I think that whoever gets matched up against Leary, I think Leary's going to take that match as well. So for that match, it could go either way. Doesn't really make a difference. I think in the final, because I think whoever gets matched up against Leary, I think Leary beats either Lan or the Max, no problem. Third match of the second day, Doubt versus Nikov. So Doubt, with that whole illness episode, we don't know what exactly his level is at. I mean, there were some show matches against Hera. He's been playing, obviously. Nikov, he's gone out a couple of times in the first round in some important tournaments this year, 2020. This is not going to be an easy match for him. Doubt is a super experienced player. Great late game, I think, on Doubt. So it's going to be hard to kill him. And for Nikov, I think the pressure is going to be there to get out of the first round. So I think the psychological advantage probably goes to Doubt just because of the experience factor, just because, you know, he's been in a lot of tournaments, he's played everyone, and Nikov is probably going to want to be proving that he could get out of the first round against these opponents. So I think the advantage still goes to Doubt, although the caveat is really the illness thing. We don't know what his level is at. Maybe he's super tired, maybe he's not feeling it, but I still think that Doubt's going to take this match in the end, simply because of the experience factor. Experience is super huge. This is a big tournament with lots of money, so that plays into you for sure. It's the pressure, and I think Doubt has the experience to make a good run in this tournament. Last match, the Viper against Miguel. I mean, Miguel's a strong player. He qualified. One of the best Brazilian players, but I mean, it's the Viper. Like, you can't bet against the Viper, right? He's the favorite. He's sort of like the StarCraft player Flash, where he's the favorite in pretty much every tournament that he goes into, right? So Viper is the favorite here to win the entire tournament. So I mean, it sucks for Miguel because he gets first round matchup against the Viper, but I think the Viper takes this match. He's clearly the favorite, even overall in the tournament. So Viper wins first round. So now let's go down to the second round matches, which would be day 3. So if I use my same picks that went through on the first day, the first matchup would be Mr. Yo against MBL. I think this could be one of the best matches of the tournament. MBL has really good late game, really good post imp, and he plays a lot. But and MBL is also one of the like mechanically faster players. Mr. Yo is a bit on the slower side, but he has awesome decision making, like really, really cool strategies, really good decision making, and he knows to push where it hurts. And I think that this could be a really good like stylistic matchup, and I really hope these two players make it and get matched up against each other in round 2. This is a match that I really want to happen, and I'm sure that the viewers would enjoy watching, because I think it's going to be an epic one if this happens. So Mr. Yo against MBL, honestly, it could go either way. But I think just because Mr. Yo, he showed how strong he is at Empire Wars because he showed his decision making, he showed his strategies, and in Empire Wars it's a weird mode where there's no Dark Age, and MBL, he loves his drush fast castle. So and that he always, with his mechanical skill, he gets advantages from those drush fast castles. So in this one, since we're going Empire Wars, there's no Dark Age. I think that Mr. Yo, with his strategy and his tactics, can probably gain some advantages over MBL and outlast him. And I mean, he's obviously coming in strong from RedBull Wololo 1. So I think that Mr. Yo takes this match, but it's going to be an interesting match. I think if this is the first matchup of the third day. Second matchup would be Hera against the winner of Tato Dogan. Like I said, it could go either way. I put Dogan, I think, but whoever gets matched up against Hera, good luck, because I think Hera's gonna has a good matchup against either Tato or Dogan. He's very mechanically skilled. I think that gives him a huge advantage over those two players, and he's been super active these days. So I think Hera takes out either Tato or Dogan in round 2. It doesn't matter who, and Hera makes it through to the semis for sure. Based on the matchups here, I don't think it's not going to be an easy matchup, but I think this is a good matchup for him. Third match of the third day. In my picks would be Leary against either Lan or the Max. Here I have Lan going through over the Max, because I said the Max lacking a little bit in tournament performance. But like I said before, Leary, I think whoever he gets up matches against, he's super dangerous, super dangerous. I think he takes out whoever it is here and moves on to the semis. Last match, Doubt against the Viper, could be really interesting. Viper tournament favorite, obviously, always is. Doubt, I think, is making it through, and he can match up good against the Viper, but I think Viper's late game is just better, just straight up better than Doubt's, because he's more mechanically skilled, and he's always the favorite. So you got to go with the Viper here. Unfortunately, whoever gets matched up against the Viper obviously is not going to be the favorite to win that match. So it could be an upset here, but Doubt the Viper is always good games to watch if that happens. So I'd say that's my second match that I would look out for during day 3 after Mr. Yo and Mbl. So that brings us to the semis, where I think it's going to be Mr. Yo, Hera, Leary, and the Viper, which sort of mirrors the world ranking right now. If you go by like ELO ratings or tournament ELO ratings, let's say. And so let's talk about those two semis right now. Mr. Yo, Hera, I think that's straight fire. Could have been the tournament final, honestly. But unfortunately, if they would meet in the semis rather than the final. And this can go either way. But I think that Hera right now, he's more mechanically skilled than most players here in the bracket. I don't think he's peaked yet. He's very young compared to the age average of the tournament players, and he still has room to grow. So I think he's looking for that big tournament performance here. He's looking for that big win in 2020. I think he takes this match against Mr. Yo. Not going to be an easy one, but I think that since it's the semis, there might be a little bit less pressure, and he can just focus more on using his skills and using his mechanical skills to get him over the edge and make it to the finals and make a really deep run in this tournament. So that semifinal could be straight fire, but I still have Hera, and also I'm super biased towards Canadian, so I think that he makes it through here and he make it to the final. Second semifinal. I would have here Leary against the Viper. I think that could be awesome semifinal because Leary knows when to be aggressive, and the Viper too. Like he's been doing some all-ins that are really interesting, and I just hope that it's just back and forth between these two guys on the aggression. And this might be one of the most aggressive matchups here between Leary and the Viper, and I really hope they go all out on the aggression, give us some super interesting games. That's what RedBull Wololo is all about. It's that Empire's War mode aggression. So super interesting semifinal. But of course, the Viper, like I said, in every one of these matchups, you match him up against any one of these players on his list, he's the favorite, unfortunately. World #1 in tournament rankings. I mean, he knows when to deliver. The only asterisk is like the injury aspect, where this year he's been struggling with getting healthy. And it's a tournament that's played over 3-4 days. Maybe in the 4th day he's not exactly feeling it, and we saw that fatigue is also an element for that for 2020 that Viper might be struggling with here, where if he has to play 2 sets in a row, he might want to conserve a little bit of energy or something like that. So we don't know, like the fatigue element here might be the little asterisk that maybe at day 4 he's a little bit worn out on the wrist, and maybe Leary has a chance here to get I think that this probably is the best chance you have of upsetting the Viper is early on in the semifinal on day 4. Try to catch him off guard here. So, but again, the Viper's a favorite. I have him going through to the final. So my dream final here obviously is Hera, the Viper. they've been playing a lot against each other in like show matches and stuff like that. It's been pretty friendly, but I think that a final between these two guys would be awesome. Hera, eager to prove himself, eager to take a big tournament win off the Viper. And, you know, there's all the memes of like, you know, getting 4-0 and whatever. But I think that this final will be straight fire. And just hoping to see again Hera's mechanical skill and his decision making against Viper's impeccable decision making. And just he's also the tournament favorite. So, that match could go either way, very evenly matched, I think, more so than the semifinals, I think. And I have it, you know, in my heart, I have it as Hera winning the tournament, hopefully. So that's sort of my bracket right now. That's the way that I see the tournament going down. I think that the semifinals could be super interesting. Again, the matches to watch out for: Mr. Yo, Mbl in round 2. If they both make it through their first round matches, I think that would be a really straight fire match to watch. So that's pretty much it for the bracket, for the Wololo bracket. I could put it up at the end of the video. And thanks for watching. Leave me some comments, and yeah.